Hello and welcome back everyone to Legacy of the Void campaign and Rocket Rabbit commentaries for StarCraft 2. And in this episode, after successfully finishing up Spear of Adun, we're going to go over to Shakuras. It's been a while since we've been on Shakuras.
Reclamation left in ruins. I have failed my people. This must not stand. The Nerazim of Shakuras ritually sever their connection to the Kala. Because of this,
They are now the last of the free Protoss.
I must reach them before Amon's armies.
Well, you can guess how this is going to go,
them.
Mr. Cloud.
Well, that Amon is gonna beat us there and then cause like a freaking Empire Strikes Back type situation.
Kind of.
Shakuras is overrun. Loss of life is extensive.
Oh my god, we're gonna have dinner with sexy possessed aliens. Awesome.
Gods, Artanis, you live.
Hey, Vorazun.
What has happened here?
Shakuras has fallen. The warp gate linking this world to
You see, now that we've lost one female voices, I think it's very refreshing that the game immediately replenishes us with another one.
decimated our shadow guard. We are trying to evacuate the remaining population, but I am uncertain whether we can hold long enough to get them safely away.
Sadness.
We will give you the time you need, Matriarch. My Templar are inbound.
Alright, so, for this mission, we actually got access to a fan-favorite new unit.
Before our armies engage the enemy, it would be wise to review our military capabilities within the war.
Well, I hope that these new options are desirable. I mean, we've been playing this campaign for quite some time. Meeting some new people.
What happened, Artanis?
Amon used the Kala to seize control of the Templar. I could feel
Yeah, he was
his
being a
rage
dick about
tearing
it, too.
through me, and I was powerless against it. Zeratul found me. It was there that he
Yes.
tried to free me. And he succeeded at the cost of his own life.
He magicked my nerve cords away. I don't know how he did it.
By my hand.
It was
I-
Amon's deed, not yours.
See, I'm very glad that she just accepted that right away so we could get over that whole plot point that some people may not be so accepting of the idea that he was not in control of his own actions.
Right.
Like, sure you did. Sure it was Amon. You betraying bastard.
Be easily lifted.
Alright, so yeah, we're going to be following Vorazun's story throughout most of the rest of the campaign. Because
Yay.
I actually really like Vorazun.
A preserver, released from stasis. She still bears her nerve cords. She's tethered to the collar.
Hold. I am Rohana.
Everyone meet Rohana, your grandmother. Or rather, your racist grandmother, depending on what your feeling about grandparents is.
Executor in command.
You are not possessed by the Dark One. How is this possible?
Because I am cooler than that.
The edges of my every thought. But I am not corrupted. Preservers of my station have trained to control Kala's every ripple. I assure you, I will stay.
She only has 2 toes per feet. That's kind of odd for me.
As all preservers, I hold the memories and personalities.
Well, I mean, we should, you know, point out it's ridiculous in the first place an alien race should even, you know, look remotely human.
That's true.
But it helps us to stay anchored in a narrative when the characters also look about as human as we do, regardless of how many toes they have.
I am Artanis, hierarch of the Daylon. I lead all that is left of our civilization. Your memories are indeed of use, Rohana. But make no mistake. If you fall to this corruption, I will not hesitate to destroy you.
Which is why I still have my
Okay,
side laid out.
It is understood. I am prepared for the firstborn.
They developed that quite a bit. Let's see what happens. We have a mission at hand, and
Yes.
that's going to divert us enough for us to maybe forget that all these things that we were talking about.
Awaits, hierarch. We may begin whenever you are ready.
Yeah, past Gerdat and I do not like Rohana.
Assembly panel allows you to customize your army based on
Like, it's only too convenient. Like, true, I still have my connection to the Kala, but I'm not affected by it. True. I feel Amon's influence at the edge of everything that I do and everything that I think, but I'm not affected by it. Like,
So,
sure, okay,
as I kind of
yeah.
spoiled while we were going through Spear of Adun and the earlier missions, the big thing that changes up Legacy of the Void from Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty is the fact that instead of getting unit upgrades, we get to switch our units' factions, and the factional switches are entirely different units that behave similarly but have different advantages to them and different stats. We're gonna be using mostly Nerazim for our playthrough, but mostly because the Nerazim ones are really simple to do. A lot of their spells are just situational actives that they'll auto-cast. Like the Centurion's Dark Coil. You'll notice that over here we get to see that we are going to be able to use Dark Templar for this mission. And if you know what the fuck you're doing, you can clear this particular mission in 5 minutes using just Dark Templar.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I want to get as much of the additional Solarite that's on the map, and I'll describe Solarite when it becomes relevant.
This I swear.
All right, but yes, we start with 4 Dark Templar, and you can use these 4 Dark Templar effectively on their own in order to actually finish this mission very quickly. I want to get another Dark Templar before we go out, but you know, there's an event that happens once we start moving out that I want to push for. Now, Dark Templar are fucking amazing still, because as originally in StarCraft Brood War and in StarCraft 2, they are permanently cloaked. They have extremely high melee damage. They're relatively fragile, and they can't merge into Dark Archons anymore. But we will get the ability to do that later if we choose to. The Dark Templar's big advantage in this mission is their permanent cloak and their relatively high melee damage. This mission is built around using them and getting comfortable with them. But every like 5 or so minutes, this happens. A Void Thrasher shows up out of fucking nowhere and starts attacking the primary core that we have to defend. We also get introduced to a bunch of the Spear of Adun's alternate features, such as Orbital Bombardment! And no, you don't get this cutscene each time you cast Orbital Bombardment, just this once.
I was going to say that it would be pretty goddamn funny if it played this cutscene every single time you tried using Orbital Bombardment. No, this is just to show you how it's happening.
Yeah.
The Thrasher has been weakened. Warriors, move in and seal its fate.
Warriors!
We are the warriors.
Right now, stop that, stop that! For God's sake, mate, stop that, stop, somebody please stop the aim at what?
Alright, so, with these 4 Dark Templar that we have, we can actually clear this mission with just them, as I've mentioned like 3 times now. We won't be doing that, as I've mentioned at least twice now. We are going to be using the Dark Templar to do a majority of the mission, but not with just these. We're going to get some more Dark Templar before we actually go out and do the entire mission. This is honestly like the easiest mission of any of the campaigns. Mostly because of its base construction. We don't actually have to build a base in order to finish this mission, like at all. That one Void Thrasher will show up one more time before the end of this mission, and we get to ignore it then because the mission's so close to over by then.
Huh.
But yes, Dark Templar are fucking amazing, mostly because they have the ability to one-shot Zerglings, Hydralisks, and Creep Tuners. They don't do so well against Spore Crawlers, which is a particularly bad point later on, but it's not significant. It's not bad enough to where it becomes an actual detriment.
Extensively fortified this area. An orbital strike would help us.
Yes, Orbital Strike. I like just the sound of it. It raises my jollies. How about another Orbital Strike?
We're not going to use Orbital Strike again until we have to take down either Overseers or Spore Crawlers, though. Yeah, the speed run of this mission is like 4 or 5 minutes, something like that. I think they end up using Blink Stalkers for the last objective instead of just the Dark Templar, but yeah. I like the Dark Templar. Cloud can attest that I have used Dark Templar against him at least a couple of times in our multiplayer rounds. I think we've only actually had like 2 multiplayer rounds, right?
Well, I mean, I definitely remember dying of Dark Templars, because all my dudes will just start popping like zits on the map, and then wondering, you know, whose fingers are driving that action. Yeah, and you know that they can also attack the
only mobile observer for StarCraft 2 is the Raven.
Continue evacuating.
Yep, and if my radar sensors are not working, oh boy, they can even attack my radar towers.
Yeah, because radar towers aren't actual detectors, are they? They just give you threat indicators.
Oh. Well, see, that also would explain why I would die of Dark Templars, because I would be using threat indicators in lieu of getting the actual ravens that will make these guys attackable.
That and
however,
these Terrans need missile turrets.
These guys also cannot attack airborne units.
That is their one and only
whatever.
weakness, though. Like quite factually, the only problem that Dark Templar even have is the fact that they are unable to attack air units. But that isn't really that big of a problem for them because they're so good at dealing with grounded targets. And you know, you can win the game just by attacking grounded targets.
Shore up our defenses. The Zerg are moving to attack our nexus point.
With what? We've killed most of the
the
Zerglings
Immortal
on the map.
4.
No, we put down 2
Orbital
photon
strike.
cannons. That'll be enough to throw out any Zerglings that they throw at us.
It's similar to plunging strike because it starts up high and comes down low. Yes, let us try orbital strike.
We don't need to use more orbital strikes, although admittedly we should be using some of our built-up solarite energy.
Oh my God, we have even more Dark Templars.
Yes, more Templar.
Call us the Magnificent Seven.
I've never actually seen any of those movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that shit either.
I know it's a very famous Western story that gets I think it's technically an adaptation of one of the Chronicles of Sun Wukong, A Journey to the West, rather.
Here. I keep thinking of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which does not actually tell you how many extraordinary gentlemen there are.
I want to say it's 7 still, because you got you know what? I don't remember most of their names except for Ahab, and it's not even Ahab; it's Ishmael.
Station. Only one launch bay remains disabled.
A second Thrasher. The conduit is under assault.
Really?
Yeah, we could ignore this one, but you know, it's effectively on the way of where we need to go, so we're probably gonna take it down.
Orbital strike.
We're not gonna
Yes,
use
Thrasher.
orbital strike on it.
We should have developed the very strong association. Yes, the Void Thrasher is weak to orbital strike.
It's not weak to orbital strike, to be perfectly honest, because orbital strike does a set amount of damage. There we go. Second one. The third one that I'm looking for the bonus objectives is actually on the other end of the map and almost the dead north corner. And that's why this mission takes a part and a half, because I forgot that it was up there while we were already up there. So
Yes, we forgive you for forgetting some of the minor details. Aren't you just fascinated with this wonderful celestial weaponry called orbital strike?
I'm glad that I swap out orbital strike after this for. Okay, here we're using orbital strike against this spore crawler. Are you happy, Mr. Cloud?
Yes, we are quite pleased you are taking us up on our invitation to the Fuck Your Enemies party, yes. Orbital strike, my friends. It works. Oh, it works.
I am intrigued. I am the blade of the
Trying to avoid the overseers.
I am but a phantom.
Alright, in the next episode, we will successfully finish off this particular mission, which I think this one's technically Amon's Reach. And then we'll be moving on to the mission directly afterwards, which is one of the worst missions in the campaign. Not because it's particularly difficult, but because its bonus objective, and specifically its mastery achievement, are nutso. Be safe, everybody.